of Backwoods Live. I appreciate you guys joining me for this very cold, frigid December day. Still getting the lights on, obviously. But like I said, I'm glad that you could join us on episode 34 of Backwoods Live. That is episode 34, Backwoods Live. Thank you for joining me. My name is Bobby. I like to build skateboards. I'd prefer to be warmer, but here we are. We're going to get to it. We're going to make some things happen. And yeah, there we go. So what we're going to do, be working on today, if you don't mind me just taking a second, rotating my little stand around here. Okay, so what we're going to be working on today, hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Looks like the mics are okay. So we're going to be finishing up this shape. We were working on this last episode, and we were able to speak with the guy that's going to be owning this skateboard. Let me drop my things on the ground here. Ugh. Sucks getting old, making that noise every time you move. Anyways, I digress. So what we're working on is this today. We're going to be making this bad boy. We got some modifications we're going to make to it. Like I was saying, we're speaking with the future owner of this skateboard and figuring out live in real time over the comments section what he would like to do, what kind of modifications he wants to make. And so that's what we're going to work on today, is trying to get this thing finished up. Now, like I said, we're pretty close to a final shape here. We got our wheelbase set. I was told nose and tail are perfect. Overall length, looking good there too. So the only modifications is we wanted a bit of a flatter edge from here on the taper, specifically for grabs. He likes to skate bowls, and he wants something with a little more oomph. Now, I was also told that the trucks that are going to be going on this are 875. Now, if you remember from our last episode, or if you're just joining us and you've never seen me do this before, 9 3/4 is what we are at the widest point. And then at our minimum point down here at the tail, we are looking at, let me get something a little more accurate. This tends to be a little more accurate sometimes. 8 6/8, 5/8, 8 5/8. My apologies. So 8 5/8, 9 3/4. It's a little bit of a difference. He's going to be having 8.75 on here, so I can stand to go just a little bit wider on the back without compromising too much of the overall aesthetic of this skateboard that we're going for. So now, on the last episode, I actually made some lines here where I changed it up. I actually made it more narrow, thinking that that would be a better looking shape. So we're going to go with those lines and run those out just the same way I had them, and then run our tail out there and have it meet up nicely. And like I said, this is something that was done on the fly. He messaged me and said, hey, this is what I'd like to try to do. Let's see if we can make it happen. And of course, me being the accommodator for anything custom with a skateboard, I obliged, and we're going to make this thing happen. So what I'm doing here is just widening the tail section of this thing. I'm not making any modifications from the front half up. I don't want to change anything there too much. I want to keep what I have going in the front and only make this back just a little bit wider. And it's honestly, it's not going to be much. It's about 1/8 of an inch on each side. Ends up being 1/4 inch total overall. So it's not a great big deal of a change. Now, I'm sitting here while I'm talking to you. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to continue these out. Now, if I do it straight, it's going to look funky. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand draw this in. I think I'm going to have a little bit better luck getting rid of some of that sharp angle curve that I'm working with right here. And I think that's what he's ultimately going for, is something with just a little less of that curve and a little less of that angle here on the ridge, or on the edge of the skateboard, depending on how you want to describe it. So like I said, it's not a big change, and I'll show you here in just a second. My pencil lining is terrible today. But you can see this modification right here. That's all I did. That's all it was. Minor modifications to get our overall shape. And I think that's going to work out nicely. Now I'm going to keep those other lines, those interior lines there as a reference throughout the cutting process, just so I know where I was and where I want to end up. Now, I extended that one right about here. You always go for symmetry when you're making a skateboard. And let me tell you, it is hard as heck to be symmetrical with that. Now that one ended up being just a little bit straighter, but that's okay. Just a slight change, but I can modify that very easily. That's why I like using pencil. I don't use a permanent marker or a pen or anything like that. I like to have something that can be erased if I need to, because inevitably you're going to have to make some changes when you're doing this process. There we go. I think I like that. So it's really hard to tell on the live here, but you can kind of see the line difference there, right there at the tail, kind of down here where my thumb is. It's not much. Let me show you the other side. There you go. So it's not much of a difference, but very minor. But I think that's going to make a big difference in the rideability for this particular customer. Now, as far as our overall shape, I think I like what I'm looking at here. And again, I'll be able to make some minor modifications on the sander once I start getting to that process. But I think at this point, we're ready to start cutting. We have our bolt holes in. We are 14.5 on the wheelbase. Let me double check that. I'm pretty sure it's 14.5. That's my standard I usually go to. Yes, 14.5 is our wheelbase. Good, comfortable wheelbase size. Now, for the, excuse me, the cutting process, I use a jigsaw. Most people use a bandsaw, or the higher end companies, they have this special machine that does it by computer, or CNC, you know, those types of things. I wish I had one of those, let me tell you. But where would I put it? You know, like there's not a lot of working space in here yet. I am working on something. It's a little specialty project to make this area bigger, make it more user friendly, and hopefully video friendly and viewer friendly. Not just user friendly, but it's just, I need more space, and it's too cold right now to be doing much of what I was doing about a month ago. Oh, damn. Even today, damn. As the snow is melting, still just not working for me. There we go. Everything breaks down when it's cold. I don't get it. Like nothing wants to cooperate quite like it should when it's cold out. And I really dislike it. But anyways, we're going to get to cutting this thing. So just bear with me. It's going to be a little loud. But we're going to get this thing going. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns about what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, or how I'm doing it, please let me know in the comments section. I'd be happy to answer them. So yeah, let's get to it. Now, as I'm doing this, I'm staying well outside of my drawn lines here, just to make sure I don't undercut it and make something that's going to suck. Okay. All right, we're halfway there. Okay, piece of board. Gotta love it. That's gonna get in my way later. I bet money. That's all right. I'll pick it up and move it. I'm not gonna be a dummy, trip over my own thing that I did. Okay, looking good. Looking like a skateboard so far, which is what we're making, in case you were wondering. I know it looks like a skateboard, sounds like a skateboard. Let's hope it rides like a skateboard. No, I'm just kidding. It's going to ride like a skateboard, of course. Of course it's going to ride like a skateboard. It's made by me, a skateboarder. It's made for skateboarding. All right. Even more fun than breathing. Okay. Now that we've gotten through that, you can see not much left of the board. Just a little bit, the remnants of what it used to be. And now we can get a better idea of what this thing is actually going to look like here. If I remove these clamps, you'll see this thing is starting to take shape. Starting to look like a pretty badass shape, if I don't say so myself. I do say so myself. I think adding that extra, adding that little bit of extra here really made a difference. So if he happens to come in the comments, you'll be able to see what he thinks of it. I don't know, he's busy, life and stuff. So we'll see. We'll see if they make an appearance on today's episode, but that's neither here nor there. I'm going to move this. Keeps getting in my way. And I want you guys to be able to see everything. Okay, so I've noticed here, while I'm sitting here gabbing away, obviously my tail, not quite right. Needs a little bit of TLC, see what I'm saying? There we go. A little bit of TLC is needed for this particular setup, but that's okay. I knew I was going to make some modifications. There we go, that's better. I knew I was going to make some modifications to this thing. So we're going to see how much sanding we can get out of this without losing too much of our width. Now that's going to be a problem if I'm not able to get this down enough to make it right. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, I think we're going to go with it. So I'll throw this in my pocket. Actually, we're going to slide over here to the other sander and get it going. Old bearded skater, he's here. He's here. All right, so this is what we're working with. I left a little bit extra here on the bottom sections, 1/8 of an inch. So it's, I don't remember the total width now. Let me double check here. Oh, 9 1/8 right now. 9.18. 0.12? 9.12. 9 1/8 is what we're looking at for the back section here near the tail. So let me see what you think. I'm about to hit it over here with the sander. So we're going to slide over here to this little guy and get it going. So just give me a second here. I'm going to have to, unfortunately, I have to turn off my heater and mask up. So good and bad, I suppose. The last time I tried to run the heater while I was doing this, did not work out. Killed everything in the warehouse all at once. He's going to love it. Awesome. All right, we're going to get to shaping this thing. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Hit me up in the comments section. I'm going to get to work. All right. Got to crank this bad boy on. Old school. Okay. Not bad. Not bad. It's coming together real nice. There's the edge we're looking at right here. That's not bad. So we want to get this nose looking really nice right here. We got it pretty good. Needs a little fine tuning, just a little bit, but I think that's pretty good. Now I got to do this side. All right, that's looking pretty good. So we're looking pretty good right now. These two sides, just about even. Right here, we're looking just about perfect. So now I'm gonna fix this tail, and then we're gonna spin around and hit this nose, try to make this thing a little bit broader. There we go. There we go. A little bit better. There we go. Now we're starting to get somewhere. All right, now. I just realized I got to add a little more curve right here. You see, it's a little bit off. There we go. Now we're looking much better. Much better right here and right here. A little better. It's a little more even now. So now I just got to get these curves right. So I'm going to narrow that one down, make it a little more mellow. Almost just like that. That was almost it. There we go. There we go. Now we're starting to look somewhere. Old school 80s, right? Just before World Industries. Yeah. That's my idea. Good for bowls, but you can also still flip it if you need to. So it's still going to do best of both worlds. That's my idea. So. What we can do here. There we go. Now we're starting to get somewhere. All right. Yeah, it's looking much tighter now. That's what I like to see. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful tail. This thing turned out really nice. Yeah, it's going to shape up beautifully. Next up, we got to get this thing taken care of. Looks pretty good. We're just going to tighten it up, make it right. Okay. So we got that pretty good. We got that good, nice, even curve on it. So now I'm going to flatten it out just a little bit. It's a little pointy. There you go. See, it's a little pointy here. I'm going to try to flatten it just a little. There we go. Okay, so that much nicer. I like this a lot better. It looks a little confusing right here. The lines aren't quite right. They weren't exactly what I wanted. But when you look at it from the backside like this, I really like that. That should be nothing. That'll stand out. So overall, this is our full shape. Pretty nice. I really liked how this one turned out. Yeah, I really like this one. This one turned out really nice. I think this is going to be a beautiful shape. I think they're going to end up loving this thing. So, just give me a second. I got to get the feeling back in my thumbs. I don't have much feeling in my thumbs. I got to turn the next machine on. I swear they look like they're turning purple. But anyways, so I was saying to the guy, I'm actually speaking with him. He's on the comments right now. He's going to be the future owner of this. And so when you order a skateboard with me with Bakwuds Skateboards, you'll be able to work in real time to make this thing happen. Heck yeah, that's what it's all about. I just need the idea. Tell me what you're looking for, and we can make it happen. So I really think that's really creative and really interesting. Not many people are doing that. I don't know anybody that's doing live request shape like it's a radio station or something, you know? So I think we're pretty good here. We're going to step over to the next machine here. Let me turn my little cart stand here and turn you guys at the same time. There we go. So this is a bag sander. This is what gives us our nice curve edge on the skateboard shape. Now, I have mine kind of low. It's usually not this low, but with the weather being what it is, I got to add a little bit of air to it. And I just use a simple bike pump to do that. So just give me a second here. Add a little bit of air to my tank. Doesn't take much. It's just enough to give this thing just a little bit of resistance. There's a canvas bag in here, and that allows it to give you that curve, because that one over there is going to give you a flat edge. So you want this nice rounded curve edge. So as far as the edge goes, that's going to be very new school. We're going to round it over completely over like a new school skateboard. I have done some where I do a slight round over edge. So if you're into that kind of thing, let me know. So we're going to get this thing cranked up, so just hang tight with me. Okay. Hopefully the camera didn't cut off. My monitor cut off, but that's what I have to deal with, I suppose. Yeah, it's coming back on. Okay. So hopefully we still have everything up and running. Okay, we're good. We're back. We're in business. My monitor had to cut off for a second. We're going to get this thing going. Just takes a couple of passes. Doesn't take very much. Just a couple of back and forth. And then before you know it, you got that nice rounded edge. Yeah, that's what we're looking for. Okay. Beautiful. Okay, so the edges are done. Just that quick, you get the edges done. It doesn't take very much. Let me turn this light here. There we go. Can you see me a little bit? That's a little bit better. It doesn't take much, so now we're going to do the nose and the tail. Same thing, give it that nice curve over, make it nice and smooth so you don't destroy your ankles. All right, it's looking pretty good. Not bad, not bad. We're almost there. All right. I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I sometimes spend way more time than I probably need to doing this particular process, but that's just the way it is. I like to have it nice and perfect all the way around. It's very a minor thing, but it's important to me. All right. It's pretty good. Now the only spots I have left are right here at what I call the shoulders. These are always tough to get on that big bag, so I'm just going to do these by hand. I might hit it just a little bit to take some of that edge off, and then I got to hit here on the veneer from, I guess, a pressing incident. I don't know what happened there. There we go. The rest of that I can touch up with the hand sander. Shouldn't be a problem to take that out. Now, same thing on this side, on the tail. It's the same situation. I just have to edge it up just a little bit to make it true. There we go. Looking pretty good. So we got her there. We're pretty much... Okay, nothing to worry about. Nothing major. So we pretty much got this thing. Got to rotate my card around again. There we go. So we're ready to hit this thing with the hand sander. I got this thing pretty much perfect all the way around as far as all these edges go. So now I just got to touch it up and make it just about right. So spin you guys around. There we are, back at our station. So I do appreciate you guys joining me here on this episode. This is episode 34, by the way. And I do appreciate you guys joining me. It means a lot to me. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns about what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, or how I'm doing it, please let me know in the comments section. I'll be happy to answer them anytime. So we're gonna step over that trash. Don't need that. We'll just worry about that another time. Now, we're ready for the big business, the big hand tool. It's not really. It's a basic hand sander. Nothing special about it. What is special is using the right kind of grit. If you use the wrong kind of grit, you're going to either take off too much or not enough. So usually you start with the lower number, work your way to a higher number. So if you've ever sanded anything before, you know, but if you don't, little piece of advice for you. Oh, well, maybe I should have it plugged in. It is what is not plugged in. Something is not plugged in here. What did I do? What did I do? 1, 2, buckle my shoe. That into the wrong damn thing. Let's try this one. Hey, got it. All right. Okay, we're getting there. We're moving through this thing. We're getting through it. If you're just now joining me, or if you're curious what we're doing, we're making skateboards. We are making a about mid-80s shape. It was a custom request from a buddy of mine that I found online, or he found me, I should say. And he had a special request for something just like this. Probably this specifically, I hope, anyways. And what's really unique is he is in the comments section, or was anyways, and we were building this thing together in real time to get this thing correct the way he wanted it. And I think that's really cool. So we're working our way through this thing. We're not quite there yet, but we're getting there. All right, so we're getting there. We're almost there. I would have to say, though, I wanted to say, this is probably my favorite part of the process. I know I've said it before, it's a necessary part of the process, but this is really fun. This is where I really get to put my hands in it and really experience what this skateboard shape is all about. And for any skateboard shape that I'm building, I get that same process every time I get to do this. And I think that's really cool because every time I do it, I'm like, man, I really want one of these of my own. And that just makes me branch out with my own skateboarding to try different shapes that I might not have tried otherwise. Like right now, I have myself a square tail. Now, I've never tried a square tail, but I was making one day here live, actually. I really like that shape. I think it was really cool and unique. I've never tried one before, and I figured why not give it a try and see what happens, see what comes of it. So that's what's happening. Now, obviously, it's snowing outside, or it was. It's not anymore, but it's just cold as hell. So I'm not doing too much skating. I'm waiting for it to warm up. I'm doing a little bit of indoor skating at the warehouse and stuff like that, but you got to take it where you can get it, right? So we're going to continue. We're just about done with the 120 grit. We're going to flip it over and do the tops and bottoms, and then we're going to slide over to our 220 and get this thing all buttered up and ready for some glue or clear coat and paint. And that's going to be a special treat because we're going to actually be doing a purple stain on this thing, like very similar to the one I did about 2 months ago. I did a black stain. So I realized something with that. Shake the can. It says not to, it says stir it. But honestly, a good shake really is what made it happen for me. Nostalgic shape for my son. That's what's up. That's what I like to see, is that this is going to allow people to experience a whole new generation. And that is what is really cool about all these old skateboard shapes coming back into play, coming back into action, is that kids nowadays will get to experience these, and it might be their first skateboard to their last. They might never venture into the popsicle realm, whereas I myself started with a popsicle skateboard, and up until my 40s, go figure, that's when I started to branch out and start to try out different things. I can't believe it took over 20 years of skateboarding for me to start branching out. But, you know, that's just the way it is. You get stuck in a rut, and you just keep on pushing it. So we're going to keep finishing this up. I'm sure you're tired of hearing about me gabbing about stuff. I just got a few more passes. Now I'm going to flip it over and do the tops and bottoms. Beautiful. That's what I like to see. Now, I'm not done with those. I always come back to them once I do the tops and bottoms. It will tend to change the way the edge lines up. So you always have to come back and hit it yet again just to make sure nothing changed on you and made it too funky shaped. But as it stands right now, this is a beautiful ass skateboard, I must say. I will probably end up making some more of these. And I'll probably give a custom name. This might be the, I don't know, this might be the bearded skater. This might be the, I'm not going to call out any names, but let's just say this might be a more custom, a requestable custom shape. I don't know what it'll be. I might just call it mid-80s. That's kind of a good baseline for a name. It's easy to remember. So yeah, this is, like I said, a really great shape. It's similar to ones I've made, but not exactly the same. Boy, I shouldn't have used this green tape. That's going to be hell to get off. Anyway. Oh, good. Now, sometimes I think to myself, man, I get way too into this. I'm too worried about all these different sizes and shapes and angles. Like this curve here, I got to make sure it's perfect. I want it to be nice and exactly. Call it the Budda. That's my son's nickname. I like that, the Budda. This might be the Budda board. Budda board. I like that. That's really cool. That's a good name. I like that. Excuse me. As I was saying, I spend a lot of time on these curves because I'm a nitpicker when it comes to these curves. I want them to be nice and precise. I want to look down that edge and see something beautiful. So that's why I spend so much time on these edges. So that pretty much does it for the 120 grit, I should say. That gets most all of the little imperfections out, gets all the pencil out. Obviously, I was able to take that tape right off, which really saved me. And it also allows you to do some minor tweaking as far as the shape, getting rid of ridges, edges, and sharp points that would otherwise degrade your ride. Now, like I said, it does have a tendency, if you're not careful, to misshapen your tail. So I need to make sure that I keep that line nice and tight before I move on to my next step, which is the 220 grit. And I'll be honest, a lot of that is just an optical illusion. So nothing on this edge really changed, but the profile of this edge here did. So that gives the illusion that it's kind of a different angle. And that's what I'm trying to correct here, is that minor visual illusion. Okay, we're probably dealing with like 64ths of an inch, maybe even like 1/128th of an inch. It's very minor, the amount that I'm pulling off of here. But it ends up being just enough to make this thing look beautiful, as it should. And now we are looking nice and square. I like that. Like I said, I like to look down it every step of the way. Make sure nothing changed. Make sure nothing got funky on me. And right now, I think we're looking beautiful. This thing is looking really nice. There's the back side. There we go. There's more center frame. So it's not looking too bad at all. That's back side. There we go. Okay. So final step. We're going to slide over to our 220 grit. So 220 grit, if you didn't know, it's a higher number than 120. Go figure. And it also is a smoother grit. So we are less taking off edges now and refining any edges that are left, getting off any kind of last bits of fingerprints. I'm sorry, not fingerprints, pencil marks, or anything like that. Dirt, debris sometimes collects on these things. So we're going to move on to that step now. That's what we're looking for. Smooth as a baby's bottom. That's what we're looking for. Beautiful. This thing is going to accept paint really nicely once I hit it with get done hitting it with the 220. Paint will go on exceptionally well. Yep, that's what we're looking for. Nice and smooth all the way down. Almost perfect. Almost too much to even want to do anything to it. But on our next episode, we will be doing some stuff to it. So I was told he wants to have a purple stain on this thing. I wasn't told if it was going to be top or bottom. I imagine probably bottom side, which is perfectly fine with me. I have a process which worked incredibly well last time, so I'm really excited to try that again with a new color. And on top of that, we're going to be doing a custom graphic on it. We're going to heat press this graphic probably at the other warehouse, and I think that's going to be really awesome. Or it's going to be a wolf graphic. I don't know what we're going to do yet. We haven't quite gotten there yet, but it's going to be awesome. So let me continue here and stop gabbing about skateboards. All right, looking pretty good. We're almost there. We're almost there. Hang tight with me. I do appreciate you joining me. It really means a lot. I know I don't say a whole lot. I don't have a lot of good things to say most of the time. Sometimes my information is useful. Sometimes it's just me rambling about junk. Either way, it's skateboarding related most of the time. So there is that. So if you're into skateboarding, join us again. I'm going to keep going. Yeah, this thing's looking really nice. You can stain the whole thing if you'd like. So here's the thing about staining the whole thing. I can stain it, but the edges here might not accept the stain quite the same as the top deck. I'm going to give it a try because I think that will be really neat. But just to let you know that it sometimes does some funky stuff. So we'll see what happens. I don't know what's going to happen, honestly. I tried it on some scrap wood, and it seemed like it worked, but when I cut into it, it did not. So like if you were to nick it on a box or something, it would probably be not stained under that little divot that was created. So if that makes sense, I hope that does. Anyways, so we're pretty much there. We got this thing looking real beautiful, real pretty. There we go. I keep finding the wrong area of the screen. There we go. That is what we just made. I can't find the center. There we go. It's pretty nice. Like I said, it is a 975. So far as the wolf, he never really said. Really into anime. Well, go figure. My wife loves anime. Her brother loves anime. Her sister loves anime. Her best friend. They all love anime. Not too much into it myself. It's, it's not for me. But I can get with you on a wolf graphic. I think I might have something right up his alley that might just work. So shoot out some names of some episodes or some series that he likes. I guarantee you my wolf, I guarantee you my wife or her brother will know them right off the top, and they'll be able to tell me everything I need to know about them, which is going to be great because I don't know enough. I'd have to do some research on that topic. But luckily, I have some people in the know. So I noticed as I'm sitting here talking, I'm going to go ahead and do it. I always tend to do this with all my boards. I come back and I do a little bit of hand sanding. There's a couple of areas here that are just almost right, but not quite. So I think a little hand sanding is in order. And I try to do this with every skateboard that I make. At least a one good once over to make sure that this whole thing is going to be pristine and perfect all the way down. Like, that's much better right there. That's much better. It's amazing what just a little bit of sanding can do. When I was younger, I was like, it's too much sanding. I don't want to do all that. There's no way I'm doing all that sanding. But then I realized as I got older, there's tons of tools that make this job so much easier, so much nicer. Before, I used to sand down the entire curved edge with one of these. COVID? No COVID here. No COVID here. Sawdust. Sawdust. That's what we're dealing with here. I don't have the money for an official mask with the big respirators on it and stuff. These are free at work. I'm going to use these. I'm all about saving money on certain things. Just because, not a whole lot of sawdust. I have a fan generally going, so it's getting that stuff out of here just as fast as I'm creating it. But I ain't got time or money for a big respirator mask. Maybe old Santa Claus will bring me one for Christmas. I don't know. I never asked him for one, so I doubt it. He's too busy for a schmo like me anyways, you know what I mean? Okay, that is much better. That's what I like to see. So as I was saying, we are pretty much done with this skateboard. It is a beautiful shape that we just created. Right here. I love it. I think I'm going to have to skate one myself. I think I'm going to have to make one. Maybe several. And I'll put them up on the website. Or if you want to join me live on the next episode. We're going to finish this one up. We're going to do a purple stain on it. And then we're going to flip it over and put a wolf graphic somewhere here on the back. I don't know where. I don't know how. But it's going down. So I do appreciate you guys joining me. It means a lot to me. I hope you guys can join me next time for episode 35, when we're going to be finishing this thing up and doing some more. Who knows? So anyways, thank you so much, and have a good night.